Oh, hey FedEx. Thanks for our new gecko.
Have a great day, FedEx. Thank you.
No problem, guys. Yeah.
Now that we got our gecko that we didn't let sit outside in the hot sun, that we brought it in as soon as we heard the door knock, we're gonna put it away and we're gonna show you what to do and what not to do when you get your animal from us or from any other place. Let's open this box. When you open the box, make sure you use a knife and you always cut to the outside, even though I did not do that, because you don't want to hurt yourself. But if I slip and I stab Manny, that's okay because that's not me. Alright, so we take the styrofoam?
Styrofoam, yes.
Alright. Styrofoam off. You're gonna see the package comes, if you get like one gecko or something, it's gonna come in a small box like this. We're gonna have some paper in there packed so you know it doesn't allow the deli cup to move in and stuff. We can get rid of that.
And depending on your temperature, sometimes in there might be a cold pack, a cryo pack, a heat pack. So it does vary a little bit, you know. And those things you could actually, well, not the heat packs, but the cryos and cold, you could actually save and reuse if you decide to ship something later.
Yeah, you never know. You might need it. So keep it. Not the heat pack, that goes bad. Now this, the most important thing about your shipment, this you keep or you give it to a friend that likes reptiles. If he doesn't like reptiles, don't give it to him. And don't give it to your kids, they'll throw it away. Give it to your friend. Now, here's a little gecko that we just got in. Little crested gecko. Now, depending on where you are, some parts of the countries are, you know, really cold. Some part of the country is really hot. Doesn't matter. Let the gecko or any animal acclimate at room temperature. If, let's say this is the enclosure, forget the panther chameleon in there. If I'm gonna put this gecko in here, I'm not gonna put it right underneath the basking spot or the chameleon or whatever, tegu, bearded dragon, whatever I got. I'm gonna put it in the enclosure, but not necessarily under the basking spot, and let the animal acclimate on its own. It's gonna search, you know, the basking spot when it's ready, but you don't want it to have that, you know, crazy temperature change right away, especially after so much stress of a shipment.
Yeah, so that's one of the most important things to do is make sure you have your enclosure set up before you get the animal in the mail. You don't want to get it and then like, oh, I gotta set something up, and you know, you might not do it right. You want to make sure everything is completely set up as you want it, that's optimal for the animal, and so you can literally just put it in there and then leave them alone. That's very important. A lot of people get a new animal, they're like, oh, I want to hold it right away. The next day they're holding it, and that really stresses an animal out because shipping is stressful. And you're just gonna add to more stress if you keep handling the animal. So once you put it in its brand new enclosure, you do want to give it a couple days, a week, maybe two, depending on the animal, to just let it settle in. You know, feed it, mist it, do what you have to do to, you know, keep the optimal conditions, but, you know, just leave it alone, let it settle in.
Yeah, that's something we tell people all the time. Once you first get the animal, try not to handle it, especially the first day or the first couple days, until it starts eating and pooping regularly on its own. Now, a lot of people get a baby gecko like this and they're like, oh, you know, it's not eating right away. What do I do? The answer is, as long as the temperature is set properly, as long as the enclosure is set up properly, you're not gonna need to do anything. All you gotta do is put the animal in the enclosure and nature will take its course. The animal will go find food on its own. Even in a 10-gallon tank, just like this. Now, it's not necessarily what I recommend for a beginner, especially if you're getting a baby crested gecko, but it does the job. So this is not a care video, but you know, this is a basic setup for like a crested gecko. So what I would do, if I just got this gecko in the mail, I would put the little gecko in there, close that lid, maybe give it a water cup and a feeding cup, and then forget about it. Mist it once a day, just let it acclimate on its own. What you don't want to do when you first get your crested gecko is handle it, is let your dog kill it, or let your cat play with it. You know, you don't want to put it in an area that's going to be a lot of movement. A TV is on, there's a crazy party, you know, going on. You don't want to do that. Kind of leave it alone. And keep in mind, you know, we pack these animals so there's nothing should go wrong when they arrive and stuff, but the trip can be a little stressful for an animal. Think about, like, if you were gonna take you know, a road trip and you're in a car, stuck in the car for like 24 hours or something, and in the complete darkness. It's kind of stressful, you know, you don't know what's going on. The animal's gonna be fine, there's no reason why it shouldn't be, but you want to let the animal acclimate to the enclosure on its own. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and another thing that's really, really important is if you know an animal's coming that day, make sure you're always checking your tracking info. You want to be there when the animal gets there. You don't want them to put it outside in your patio, leave it in the heat, and then the animal's fried. Yeah. You know? So you want to make sure you're on top of that. Make sure your home or someone else that can take care of the animal will be home.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we always say. Like, we guarantee live arrival as long as somebody is home to receive the animal. If the FedEx driver comes to your house, leaves a package in the front door, and you don't get it in there, or I'm sorry, he knocks on your door and you're not there or something, and then he delivers it back in the afternoon, he comes back and tries to deliver it again, we can't guarantee live arrival. So please be, you know, on top of your tracking number. We always schedule you before we ship any animal. We will call you and schedule the shipment with you so you know exactly when it's going to come. And if there's any concerns or anything, you can always give us a call. But if you have the tracking number, you know, you're expecting the FedEx driver to show up, please be aware, be by the door, you know, have an ear out for a knock on the door, your doorbell, so you don't miss that first shipment, delivery, whatever. All right, guys, so now hopefully you know what to do when you get a reptile from us or anybody else. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and
make sure you follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We're posting content on everything. Make sure you follow us.
And one more thing, guys, Patreon. Remember, we got a Patreon page. We're gonna be putting a lot of exclusive videos on there. We're gonna do like breeding guides for crested geckos and some of the other species that we breed here. We're gonna put it just on there for our Patreon supporters.
And until next time, guys, thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
That was fucking awkward.